8:21 a.m. So I want you to see that. The time, it's July 9th, 2024. It's 8:22 now. So the entity that's keeping me under surveillance is tracking my steps, and that's also identified through the use of communication devices. So this is a sex offender that was group stalking, pacing around my apartment. I'm referencing Carlo Lopez. Again, his license plate is 9 Frank Charlie Xavier 513. This is a sex offender, a demon-possessed third party who's engaged in state surveillance and doing so in concert under the malicious guise of the state's P.O.C, a third-party company, and they're all demons and they're engaging in the state's pattern of conduct. Federal group stalking monitoring is nothing but demonic activity. So you're looking at what is surveillance that's occurring in the United States. This is not an actually free society. This is a matter of public corruption. It's demonic at its core, and it's criminal because there are existing state and federal constitutional laws that outlaw criminal surveillance by the government itself. That is the threat that people such as Dominic Choi and the entire department, that the LAPD, the role that they're serving and maliciously appearing, wanting to maintain the veneer of a law enforcement agency. And the P.O.C. is exposing that. So Carlo Lopez is a demon, and he's tracking my steps using a communication devices means for what is operation of a communication device. And so the significance of this is what you can see at 8:21 a.m. I literally am picking up my keys, preparing to walk outside of the apartment where the fake sun is outside of my living room window, where my living room was filled with engineered light. Remember the video that I'm capturing outside of the same apartment building at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The fake sun is still at the same property, and it's over me at the same property. And so this is, I want to be clear, the demons are engaging in ongoing surveillance on the video of the internet. And with regard to what the people of the state, their role in criminal surveillance with the corrupt government, which is the state of California, who's being exposed and prosecuted. And it's also relevant with regard to what the Lord Jesus wants the world to know about what Satan is doing, about what's going on with the operation of government and the times that we are in. The entity is engaging in what is criminal and doing so under the guise of a company name. I'm going to drain the pockets of that company. It's speaker companies. Not only SoCal division, all of these employees who you see, they're going to federal prison. Those that are also going to be deported include JC, Juan Carlos, Maria Hernandez. She is in Baldwin Park, and also Maria Solis Alvarez, who are going to be deported. I believe Maria Solis Alvarez was granted citizenship as well. Engaging in terrorism in the United States will result in what is revocation of any purported citizenship that you thought you could keep permanently. That is before you are exposed and documented with the corrupt government for engaging in terrorism, which is entirely un-American. And it is also that which is animalistic. You're a threat to the public. And so you're going right back to wherever it is that you came from. I don't care how long ago it was. So the entity is engaging in what is a sex offense, monitoring me inside of a private space in the specific environment. This is the light source. This is the indication of the light source. Don't forget that inside of this same apartment, which is Alvarado Gardens, this is the same apartment. In the evening, this same fake sun is in alignment to my bedroom. And on this sidewalk where you see right here, this is where the demon Carlo Lopez is group stalking me in the morning. All he's doing is carrying a prop, which is a leaf blower. A leaf blower is the means whereby you're engaging in what is audible activity while you're pacing around under, while a fake sun remains over me and engineer light covers the property, and a demon is maintaining presence around you with a method of noise. In an environment where it's not sunlight that's filling the inside, you can look at the methods of engineer light. You see this tree I'm pointing at, the fake sun is in alignment with it. As I close my blinds, you can see the shadow of that tree enlarged on the blinds. That's not sunlight, and it's creating the shadow of a tree that is not in front of my window. It's at a distance, and yet the shadow is appearing enlarged. That is the pattern of what engineered light is doing, filling all over in a fake sun. That is, again, you're talking about 8, it's 8 right now, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 11 hours from now. This demon, this sex offender, Carlo Lopez, is aware of what I'm doing inside of my apartment. And Carlo Lopez is nothing other than a template for what the entire population knows about me, what I'm doing, where I'm going. This is how you have, by the way, demons who are nothing other than employed by a law enforcement agency where in that state, criminal surveillance as opposed to a free society where you have law-abiding law enforcement officers and departments that are actually serving and protecting the good American citizens. That is the malicious guise with regard to what is a state of surveillance, massive surveillance, the absence of any privacy, and not an actual free society, which is speaking to, again, if you get it all the way down to just one person is representing what the entire entity is doing. The demon possession and the surveillance behavior of Carlo Lopez is what embodies the entire Los Angeles Police Department. That's how you have stalking in helicopters as I go to the grocery store, as I go to Walmart, as I'm on the freeway, as I go to the DMV, as I go to the For example, the Social Security office, like I just documented last Tuesday, 7 days from now, by the way. And the entity is maintaining this light source over me. Title 18.22618 is relevant to what Carla Lopez, which represents speaker companies. All right. And sending this text message at 8:21, which is the exact same time I am in my apartment, picking up my keys in my bedroom. I'm physically disrobed, all right, putting my clothes on. Everything is a matter of public information while a whole population is keeping me under surveillance. And I want to go ahead and expound upon the sex offense that speaker companies who are the same people of the state that are demons pacing all around while amplified audible activity fills my apartment. I'm on the top floor of this apartment building. I am the focus of the population while that which is not the sun remains at the property all day long and it's in alignment to me. And you know that because where I move is where the fake sun moves. So 1826 Lobdell Place, the demon living at that third party facilitating venue, demons they do not have any legal argument. The fake sun remains over me. I am subject to what is surveillance by the state, including them. And that's why you are also looking at the population that surrounds me with things such as engineered light and harassing and stalking and terrorizing with helicopters. The people of the state do not have that same experience. The fake sun remains over me at Alvarado Gardens. It doesn't remain over 1826 Lobdell Place all day long. That's the difference between me and a demon such as 1826 Lobdell Place, a facilitating venue, who is being simultaneously documented while I'm subject to Title 18.22618, subsections 1 and 2. This is criminal conduct, a means of operation of a communication device, which is a method that the entity uses keeping me under surveillance and doing so with knowledge of what I do, what I say, for example, or also as I document while demons are hostile to that, to their exposure. The entity will not only group stalk in relevant position, they engage in methods of surveillance and harassment while they engage in things such as the operation of a communication device, even if it includes a prank call, somebody calling from a so-called wrong number, a marketer, a text message, whether you know them or whether it's a random marketer. This is the kind of behavior that the entity engages in with simultaneity to what they know you're doing, and it's occurring in a specific environment. So I want to make sure I point that out. And so with regard to the sex offense, and I'm going to specifically identify them now. Building 1806 is where I'm at, where I am on the top floor. This is my private space. This is where I'm subject to a sex offense. That's exactly what you see here. Violent sex offenders are identified. Violent sex offenders that are engaging in 24-hour surveillance with a corrupt government. They are adjacent. They are violent sex offenders that live next door to Alvarado Gardens. The entire property is going to be prosecuted as terrorists. Speaker companies, which represents a third party, a commercial actor. Companies will be prosecuted as terrorists, as group stalkers, as sex offenders, because that's what they are. All the entity does is slap a logo onto the side of whatever demon is operating the vehicle or flying that commercial plane or wearing that uniform. And it's the same pattern of conduct. It's the same demonic activity. It needs to be identified commercially as well so that American citizens, so that the world can make a connection with regard to who Satan is using. You may or may not want to be a consumer anymore. You may or may not want to support it anymore. You need to know with regard to who Satan is using in this world, and it very much includes commercial actors, these large companies, and it includes speaker companies. And speaker companies is a property management company where the people of the state are living and residing and engaging in a massive sex offense. And so the demons that surround me inside of building 18066, just to go over the sex offense that I'm subject to, while again my genitalia is exposed, while I'm physically indisposed, while I'm engaging in personal private activity, that sex offenders such as Carla Lopez and all of the rest of the people of the state of speaker companies are a part of that same sex act, sexually motivated aspect of the pattern of conduct, that ongoing predatory and obsessive behavioral pattern that has nothing to do with, by the way, monitoring my communication device. These are sex offenders that engage in amplified audible activity, which is impossible audible activity, walking up and down the stairs, either on this side and also through the back portion where I documented the sex offender, Joan Kim. I caught her, and it's shameful, and I'm going to use that to prosecute the whole entity. She was engaging in the sex offense, pacing in the hallway while the sound of loud, thunderous, audible activity is what's existing. And I want to be clear, this little 5'2", non-English speaking, demon-possessed group stalker who acts with impunity, stalking under the fake sun, again, as I showed yesterday, while the rest of the demons are pacing all around. That's okay, because she's going to be deported out of this country. And so she's a violent sex offender, a documented one. And she's doing so on behalf of the sex offenders that are stalking helicopters right now. Okay. And they're all demon possessed. And that demon possession is the reason why they are obsessively engaged in predatory and sexually perverted methods of group stalking. That is while I'm in a shower, physically indisposed, which you should not have any knowledge of, but you do. And while I am in that condition, while I'm engaged in that private activity, it's public information. And the demons are not only pacing around me in helicopters, The demons are pacing around in relevant position and inside of the apartment while I'm inside of the shower. You have the light that's going to be on. Competing volume, okay? You have the sound of the fan, the light. I have my phone. I'm listening to music on my phone. The water in the shower is running, and yet boom, 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 boom. I'm on the top floor of the apartment. Walking on the floors, walking up and down the stairs is not going to create this. This is amplification. So I just want to speak to. I can logically break that down with regard to the unreasonable level of violation of quiet enjoyment while you're just supposedly walking up and down the stairs. And by the way, there's only one person that lives upstairs. Okay, so there's Jong Kim. You can say Amazon Prime is delivering up. You can make whatever the demons do. They'll create whatever circumstances. Oh, well, that's why the noise was occurring. It's amplification, and it's occurring while a fake sun is outside of my apartment, which is speaking to a sex offense that you're subject to. And it's also occurring while demons are stalking in helicopter, which is what LAPD is doing right now. And Dominic Choi is going to be a heavily publicized sex offender who acted with impunity, not caring under any regard that the fact that he's a sex offender and a demon-possessed terrorist is going to be worldwide news. All right, and this is nothing hyperbolic. The entity is engaging in what is a massive sex offense that 1826 Lobdell Place is going to be prosecuted for. Amplification of demons pacing around me while they all know that I'm physically nude, and they engage in things such as operation of a communication device while I grab my keys in my apartment and am preparing to walk downstairs, where demons are group stalking in the workplace. So I want to make sure, and I will specifically document that, the demons that engage in sexual violence need to be specifically identified, and the details of their life, which is speaking to the threat to whom they are also posing, the threat that they are posing to those such as minor children. That's also relevant, because while you're group stalking me and being a sex offender as an entity, you will be removed from all the areas in life, all right, against other people where you pose a threat, and it includes minor children. So I want to be clear, these violent, demon-possessed sex offenders that are obsessively concerned with my genitalia and what I'm doing while I'm physically indisposed in a shower, which is predatory, sexually perverted, and not even merely connected with a group stalker that's just concerned about what I'm documenting on my phone. I don't even have my phone in the shower when I'm physically nude. So you are nothing but a sex offender. And I want to be clear, you need to recognize in this, the demon possession of a person, it in every way infects and perverts their behavior, their decision making. And this is relevant to the public safety concern. This demon possession, which is, amplification is demonic, but this amplified audible activity while I'm in a shower, and this is, again, demons that are pacing all around. I want to be clear. You saw the helicopters flying around in a circle outside of my living room window for 47 minutes in April of 2024. All right, and that's pacing. That's a demon. That is the prosecution of a whole police department, by the way. But nonetheless, and that's a pattern. The entity is engaging in what is pacing for 47 minutes. So you have demons that don't have helicopters. All they're doing is pacing around, driving cars and walking around. Okay, running around, riding a bike. It's all pacing. None of it is natural behavior. None of this is the natural environment. The demon possessed are doing this around me 24/7. They want to do so. They aim to do so. Their goal is to do so while my genitalia is exposed. Oh, she's in the shower. Let's pace around now. Let's amplify audible activity to monitor her now, while we know that her legs are open, while we know that she's touching her purse and cleaning herself. Let's pace around and amplify that audible activity. The reason why I'm speaking that out regarding the sexually perverted mind state that you have, that is not reflecting the target individual. That is reflecting the demon possessed who are group stalking, because that's exactly what they're doing. That's the exact environment that they're doing it in. And that is necessarily your mind state when you have that nonsensical behavioral pattern at that point in time. You know exactly what I'm doing, where I'm at. And you're doing so with regard to what is an intent to sexually violate and offend. Any reasonable person would be offended and would be literally taken back. And then the entity seeks to terrorize and psychologically torment, because the demons assume that you will never be heard and that no one's ever going to believe you. I want to be clear, that's an exceedingly violent sex offender. That's one that targets minor children and tries to incite so much fear that they will never speak up and tell about what the sex offender did to them, tell about what their uncle did to them, tell about what their dad did to them, about what their mom did to them, about what their babysitter did to them, because no one's going to believe them. That's that behavior. That's that mind state. It is what is working upon the demon-possessed group stalkers against a targeted individual when they're focused on one. And those sex offenders are women and men. And they maintain custody of children who they employ to engage in the elements of monitoring while they know you're nude, while they know you're showering. None of this is normal life. None of this is a normal environment. Again, hours from now, the fake sun is still at the property. Let me remind you about where is the fake sun. This is not sunlight that's on my ceiling. There are multiple shadows here. Nor is this the sun. I'm inside of this apartment right now. This is the light source at 5:09 in the afternoon. So this is, again, at 8 o'clock. The fake sun is still here to be seen through my bedroom window after 5 p.m. When I'm on this property and I go downstairs to my leasing office, which is what I showed you on video, the entity is maintaining a fake sun, which is how I'm able to capture it as I am remaining at this property, which again, you're looking at on an ongoing basis. This is 4:54 p.m. and it's over the same apartment building where I stood at 10 o'clock showing you the demon that is Ty Lee group stalking by washing his car, which is creating light activity on this apartment building in an impossible manner where you're seeing shade and yet his shadow is moving in the shade, and I have multiple shadows in that hallway, okay? So what you're seeing moving across my screen is the admission of demons who are giving away Todd Speaker's company, and they're all going to federal prison. And this is the behavioral pattern, by the way, of terrorists who are a threat to themselves. I believe Maria Solis Alvarez has access to minor children. They may or may not be in Mexico, but this is a violent sex offender, and I want to be clear, she is totally out of her mind. Very loose mentally. Not only is that exhibited through the pattern of conduct that she's engaging in even now, but it is also shown through the pattern of conduct in the ways in which she's group stalking with the people of the state, okay? This is called Title 18 2261A. While a demon-possessed population wants me to not talk about the fact that a fake sun remains over this property all day long, they're all going to federal prison while a federal judge is going to know exactly what that is. It's Title 18 federal stalking while they're using the term good morning. And they're all engaged in surveillance. And you know that because this is also where the entity is group stalking in helicopter all day long. Selena Robledo is exhibiting impunity. The federal judge is going to keep that in mind when she's sentenced to federal prison. Cancer or not, okay? Her health state is not stopping her from engaging in what is psychological torture. It's not stopping her or causing her to in any way slow down from engaging in what is harassment as an entity. It's not stopping her in any way or considering the rights of another when she's acting with a corrupt law enforcement agency, which is a threat to your life. It's not stopping her from engaging in this criminal system in the workplace, which is an unfathomable level of violation and a threat in where you are on the job. Doing so, it's not stopping any of that. So I want to be clear. This is where the entity is acting in sync with demons where you're stalking in helicopters and doing it on an ongoing basis. This is where I'm capturing the light source at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me be clear. This building you're looking at is the building I'm inside of right now. And the fake sun is over me at this same property at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where the entity is group stalking with minor children. These are the sex offenders that are acting with minor children who are engaging in demonic behavior, stalking with noise in the laundry room while in my office. This is what they're doing while I'm washing my nude body. That's what a sex offender does. Knowing what I'm doing while I'm nude, knowing what I'm doing while I'm in my office, you engage in this sexual violence with minor children. This is what Lucy Santos's son is doing. Okay, they're going to be separated from the minor children. They're a threat to them while you're teaching them to be terrorists and sex offenders and stalkers, which in America is in violation of federal laws. And where you are not even a natural born citizen, you're out of this country. You're out of this country. You're not welcome here. You are a threat to the thriving ability of this country. And it's being fully exposed. And I want to be clear, terrorists such as speaker companies, demons that are working for third-party companies, demons that are present on the property stalking with the entity by helicopter, and the substance of their text message, which they know is being captured on video right now, is, let me be clear, speaking to the mentally deranged state that they currently occupy, which is another reason why they're going to be removed from minor children. They're going to federal prison, and this is identified as what is impunity. Maria Solis Alvarez, heavily documented group stalking with the LAPD, who follow me to Walmart, flying over my head, follow me to the bank, flying in circles, following me when I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard, and the fake sun is remaining not over Alvarado Gardens all day, but literally over my head through my sunroof. That demon is the one that's sending text messages right now, and no federal judge is going to miss that. No federal judge is going to miss that. That's called impunity and malice. And Todd Speaker's company is no longer his, it's mine. He's not ignorant while his demon-possessed workforce are engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. Not helping him, I'm going to drain the pockets. While a whole population, including the demons, Dominic Choi and all the rest of them, that are necessarily wearing diapers, stalking all day long in helicopters, that's workplace terrorism because they're the same entity. It's not based on the fact that the LAPD works for speaker companies. Speaker companies is the people of the state, and they work for the state. This is state surveillance. That's the actual situation. All right, so I just want to be clear. This is indeed Title 18. This sexual violence, while I'm physically nude and demons know what I'm doing, engaging in what is Title 18 criminal activity. This is how you have the entity engaging in what are the elements of monitoring, stalking stalking with noise while I'm in a laundry room and a fake son is at the same property, and demons under the age of majority, such as Lucy Santos' son, who's engaging in terrorism. That's the sexual violence that's occurring. You're taking that criminal conduct and then place it occurring. That template is occurring inside of my apartment when I'm physically nude. The fake son is remaining in alignment to my apartment, and while I'm nude, engaging in what is washing my person, demons are stalking with noise, pacing all around, while you're engaging in what is amplified audible activity, which is a sex offense. Let me be clear. In the engineered light, under the fake sun, everything you're seeing and hearing is pursuant to the pattern of conduct. And I want to make sure I document at 8:38 a.m., LAPD is stalking by helicopter. So that's going on the record. I'm going to go ahead and include that on the list, but the entity, this is all relevant to how long Maria Solis Alvarez and all the demons of speaker companies. Let me be clear. Heather Till's going to federal prison. While these I don't even need to call names, but let me be clear. Your activity is, you're defining yourself. When I say a baboon, when you act like an animal, you are what you do. This is not helping Heather Till. The corporate office is going to federal prison while you act with impunity. This is what I mean to their own demise. This is sexual violence, real-time knowledge of what it is that I'm doing inside of a private space with regard to this. It's occurring in the specific environment because the sun is not remaining at one address, which is exactly what's occurring as I continuously document, while that same demon-possessed entity engages in surveillance on the venue of the internet. Stalking under a fake sun with the entity that's stalking in helicopters while you want to have a box in your hand as though you're making a delivery, as though it's anything other than group stalking. You're a psychopath and you're going to federal prison. Sending text messages talking about what you're going to have for breakfast under the fake sun and engineered light, where you are also a heavily documented group stalker, and when there is no reasonable basis to suggest that there's any exception to the long documented pattern of conduct, including in sync with demons, stalking in helicopters while you happen to send text messages and engineered light is always covering my ceiling and a fake sun remains inside of in alignment with my apartment, you are a deranged psychopath and you are going to federal prison for that. The entity is engaging in what is a long documented pattern of conduct, and they are exceedingly violent sex offenders, engaging in surveillance not only in relevant position, but on the venue of the internet, and it spells out the entire removal from the existence, but they will be listed as terrorists and a sex offender. Company names, including any company name. UPS is a group stalker that's going to be listed as a terrorist, because the world needs to know what UPS is actually doing while you're using their services, while you work for them perhaps. But there's a very small exception, like myself. I'm a target individual. If I would have ever worked for UPS, like I work for speaker companies, and they're actually targeting me. So that's actually an exception, because there are more of the demon possessed than there are those who know the Lord Jesus Christ and who are not a part of this system that's underway in America that I'm exposing. So I just want to speak to that. But if you find yourself a part of a third-party company like speaker companies that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, you might not want to work there anymore. You might want to know what it is that you are a part of unbeknownst to you, and you will also realize that they're targeting you. But nonetheless, the entity, that's what speaker companies represent, and all of these third parties are going to federal prison, and so is the corporate office. So I want to be clear, this is all starting on what a demon knows that I'm doing at 8:21 as I grab my keys, and this is the same entity that's engaging in a sex offense. The demon possessed, let me be clear, they are sex offenders. Their mind state is revealing an intent, a desire, a pattern to engage in predatory conduct, and they do so with regard to minor children. They do so the same. So a sex offender should not be in custody of minor children. This logically follows. This is axiomatic. Okay, so you're doing so in methods that you thought the government or the feds would never find out about, and that's not the truth. And you will be prosecuted like every other sex offender. Okay, so you are even more of a threat to the minor children that Maria Solis Alvarez has access to, by the way, while she's openly engaging in that sexual violence, openly engaging in what is harassment, the violation of another. Your group stalking, engaging in surveillance, and no federal judge and no one else observing is ignorant about the true nature, the condition, when you're sending what you would like to be made to appear assume innocent text messages about, good morning, what are we going to eat for breakfast? This is Title 18 criminal conduct, while the demons know I'm talking about them. They know it. That's a psychopath. That's the character, the behavior of Satan, literally the demon possessed. These are the same demons that drive by and molest with engineered light. So this is what the pattern of conduct is doing on an ongoing basis. And I want to remind you about this same property. This is indeed where I remain, and the fake sun is remaining present, where the entity is engaging in things such as stalking inside of my apartment, while against the people of the state. While the trash man is present and engages in what is emptying the dumpster, I'm being terrorized with engineered light. Demons such as those that are keeping me under surveillance while I'm physically doing in the shower, amplifying audible activity while my genitalia is exposed, while they know that I am in that state and they're monitoring at that point in time. That's a sex offender that's sexually motivated and perverted. Okay, this is the POC.
That universal waste is nothing other than a specific.
So
I should know with regard to group
what it is that I've already documented, and these are indeed the demons that are engaging in sexual violence as an entity, group stalking together. And so this is just an example. This is the third party, the same dumpster company, Universal Waste.
Position in the same parking lot, and the face.
And they're crossing paths while I'm in my room at nightfall.
A dumpster truck knows exactly my physical state, knows what I'm doing, knows who I'm praying to, and engages in stalking and terrorism via directed light as I'm praying to the Lord Jesus, which is a demon, by the way, spiritually significant what the demons are doing. It is evidence, by the way, also the fact.
It's also significant with regard to your physical state. You get to the sex offender that knows that you're physically indisposed, knows that you're engaging in private personal conduct, and chooses that moment to engage in the elements of monitoring and or federal stalking conduct. That's a sex offender. That's a predatory mind state. And you're going to punish for that. You're also going to expose it. Sex offenders need to be exposed. They're a threat.
That they are indeed demons, and they do so with impunity while they still hop in. This is a demon that has nowhere to hide with regard to his identity, her or his identity, and their criminal system. The demons will hop right back into the dumpster truck as though anyone is persuaded.
So I just want you to see the engineered light that's occurring inside of my apartment. This is the condition. This is the system that's ceaselessly underway. While Maria Solis Alvarez, Selena Robledo, Carla Lopez send text messages as though, first of all, they're ignorant. They're not. They're fools. And they are costing speaker companies. I'm going to drain the pockets because that impunity, that sex offender, that ongoing determination, that delusional mind state is a threat to me. And it's also going to cost speaker companies money. And you're also going to sit in federal prison longer for that. That's the group stalker. That's the sex offender monitoring me while I'm physically nude in the shower where I live at a facilitating venue. Okay, so I want you to see this engineer light.
When I'm captured.
Go ahead and take note of the sex offenders that are sending text messages while they listen to the truth about them. And that's exactly what they, these are part of the providence of exposing the system, because demon possession is made, you are aware of the fact, if you weren't before, the fact that you're demon possessed, and also everything that's wrong with you while you engage in group stalking, lying to yourself every day about who you are and what you're doing and the nature of what you're doing and what's necessarily wrong with you as you do it. So they are engaging in what is focusing on me. That's a psychopath. It's actually about me when they're sending text messages. And you know that through the unnatural environment. You know that through the stalking by the state. And there's no exception to that. And so you're talking about delusional psychopaths using a group text, which is incriminating that company and every single last one of them. It's criminal conduct in violation of Title 18, which is an independent basis for federal prison, period. So
is loud. It's the pattern of conduct. And by the way, demon possession.
I just want to get to the engineered light that is appearing on my bedroom wall, while a third-party group stalker that's coming onto the grounds, like everybody else that lives on the grounds, is indeed group
stalking. In the vehicle right now, and this is terrorism while engineered light was moving across my bedroom wall. And as you can see, there's nothing about that vehicle lights that would create the whole pattern, that would create any light activity inside of my apartment or in any apartment. That's substantial light activity, period. But it's not only that, it's the shape of the windows, and the shape of the window.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm giving analysis.
That's impunity. He's going to federal prison.
So I want you to
federal group stalking and monitoring. It's relevant to how long you'll sit in federal prison. Vehicle is light activity as well. This is a demon that's acting with impunity, coming back to engage in more of the elements of monitoring, not engaging in any lawful operation of a business. And that's also what you know when you see the engineer light. So this same employee is the one that's in the vehicle right now, and this is terrorism while engineer light was moving across my bedroom wall. And as you can see, there's nothing about that vehicle lights. And it's going to be prosecuted as state action, and it's vicarious criminal activity. The entity, let me be clear, is acting in sync with state.
Hold on a second. So he's driving out, so I just want to get
demon possessed, and they are targeting as one. So that's the reality, and that's going to create light activity. Like you see now, he's going to federal prison. That's impunity. He's going to federal prison.
Okay, and so legally, you're going to analyze that to drive into the opposite end of the parking lot as though you're. So what I'm showing in this video is a third-party group stalker. This is the Universal Waste Systems, a dumpster man who's driving in the parking lot, and this is the same criminal system that speaker companies and every one of those employees are engaging in, and it's an outward demonstration of demon possession. It's the malice with which demons are emptying garbage. It's the malice with which demons are engaged in the operation, the use of communication devices in violation of Title 18, while they are aware also of the fact that they're being documented. That just speaks to the public safety concern where you have demon possession amongst the population and they're engaging in this terrorism with the government. That's stalking in helicopters. You are nothing but a group stalker where that pattern of conduct surrounds you. Continuously engaging in it is also the ongoing admission by sex offenders. It's also the ongoing admission by terrorists. It's the ongoing admission by demons. And that's what speaker companies represents. It's an illegitimate company, and they're violent sex offenders that are also doing so all day long, while LAPD is flying, stalking, tracking my steps in helicopter all day long. And everything that they're doing as a company is centered on me and used as a means to group stalk me in the workplace. That is an unfathomable and never before contemplated level of civil recovery and punishment for the company employees itself, federal group stalking and monitoring. That's what the significance of these third parties, these malicious actors, very unintelligent in their behavior, not a good investment, but again, Todd speakers should never engage in what is facilitation of a government by virtue of your company and your employees who are not I wouldn't say they don't represent the heights of intellectual capacity when they're engaging in this level of criminal conduct and doing so while it's being fully exposed. No one's ignorant about the substance and the purpose of engaging in what is the sending of text messages to the target individual in the specific environment, and with regard to the ongoing analysis that I'm providing to you as I'm providing it. That's real-time knowledge of what you're being exposed for. So I want to make sure that you're mindful of this example of the dumpster man. This is Universal Waste. This is the same entity, the people of the state, and they're engaging in group stalking. So again, I'm giving a lot of analysis in this video, but what's going on is this third party drives out of the parking lot, and on my bedroom wall and in my apartment at nightfall, the panel of the windows is moving across my bedroom wall, which is entirely demonic. And it is revealing the condition of those who are in that environment around me.
This is the mind state, the delusional mind state of a population, not just.
And that's exactly what I'm speaking to. It's indicative of the entire population, including demons that are sending text messages. This is relevant to the surveillance aspect on the video of the internet, using communication devices, which the entity engages in with regard to the purpose to keep you under surveillance and also to harass you. It's like a demon that wants to call me unprofessional when I'm entirely professional, maintaining my composure also while you're literally engaging in the very foolish act of terrorism with the LAPD. And then you have the foolish behavior that I'm documenting on video. You're raising your voice, you're calling names. You are outside of the bounds of the property rules, the policies that I am literally commissioned to enforce. In other words, you have, even in your alternate universe where you exercise fictitious authority and make up information to harass, which is adding on to time in federal prison, you do not have any legitimate basis. Sending, again, and it's the same thing when speaker companies is engaging in the operation of communication devices. Psychopaths engage in more of it, and this is what you need to learn about Satan. Satan will engage in more of that which it is caught in the wrongdoing. This is the behavior pattern. This is something that's referred to in the secular as a narcissist. As a sociopathic, psychopathic behavior, this demon possession is what is working in the people of the state, and it's going to cost Todd Speaker money. And this is relevant to the prosecution of the people of the state. Speaker companies is a systematic means of group stalking. They're all going to federal prison while keeping me under surveillance, and this is a sex offense that the people of the state are engaging in, pacing all around, amplified audible activity, while all of the entity is a sex offender together. Why you are focused on, I could not care less, and nor am I interested, nor would I ever participate in what is a sex offense. You're keeping someone under surveillance and invading their privacy. Why are you concerned about them when they're physically nude, when they're in the shower? Why do you feel the need to pace around and amplify audible activity then, but for your knowledge of what they're doing as they're doing it, which is getting to sexual violence? That's what that's getting down to. You're going to prosecute for the sexually perverted mind state. And then you're getting to what is the ongoing impunity by such sex offenders who know that they're being documented, who engage in more of a criminal act while you expose their criminal activity. Those sort of terrorists are deported, they're put in federal prison, and they're placed there for a long time. Never to return after deportation, but federal prison, they get locked up for a long time. That mind state, that behavioral pattern is a public safety concern. This sex offender represents all of those that are in the workplace. This sex offender represents all of those that are group stalking with the government, that's following me around every day in helicopters while a fake sun remains over my head and demons are pacing all around on an ongoing basis. This is what I'm documenting while engineered light and a fake sun remains over me at the end of the day, which is what I documented yesterday. This is pacing all outside of my apartment. This is what is moving all around, pacing while a fake sun and engineered light surrounds. That's all that the demons are doing. And they're doing so while a fake sun is still present at this property. I'm downstairs from this is the same property after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see the fake sun through the windshield. And these demons are engaging in what is Title 18 criminal activity while they know that they're being documented. That's not helping anyone. It's not helping themselves. It's not helping the children that are going to be separated from them. Well, actually, it is beneficial to the children. Children do not need to be taught how to be sex offenders. They don't need to be taught how to be malicious terrorists. They don't need to be taught how to violate the rights and the ordinary sensibilities of American citizens, of any person. You have a human right, let alone an American right, a constitutional right. So I want to just remind you about what the entity is doing on an ongoing basis. This fake sun is going to remain in alignment. This is 11 o'clock in the morning. This is the fake sun where text messages are being sent to my phone. It's Title 18 criminal conduct. While you know about the fact that I'm exposing you as sex offenders, this is a sex offense while I'm being molested. This isn't even naturally occurring. Don't forget about the fact that there's a whole body of evidence where a fake sun remained over me for the duration of the day in the same way that it does here. And it wasn't the natural environment then, and it's not the natural environment now. And at approximately 8:34, well, let's see, I started this video about 35 minutes ago. So you're looking at what is documentation of group stalking while I am showing you the light source that's remaining over me and doing so in the same manner as you see outside of my living room window. Here, however, I'm in Rancho Cucamonga at the intersection of Haven and Arrow. That's the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. This is the bus route, Omnitrans, Route 61, and the fake sun at 8:46 a.m. I'm gonna let you know that that's not the sun. This is the fake sun that's over me, and it remains here. That's how I'm able to capture it at the end of the day over my head in the same manner while I'm facing building 1802, 1800, where that fake sun is over me, where LAPD repeatedly flew over because those demons know exactly what I'm documenting in the same way that these demons are engaging in Title 18 criminal activity while they know exactly what I'm documenting. That's not helping them in their future, nor should it be the federal government's purpose to help any terrorist, sex offending, demon possessed group stalkers. That's not even the objective. I want you to recognize the mind state. I want you to recognize the public safety concern. I want you to recognize the predatory behaviors, the psychopathic patterns. To engage in more criminal activity when you are caught red-handed is to threaten the public, because that demented mind state, which is relevant to a condition that they share, they're group stalking together, they're demons together, they're engaging in terrorism together. This is all ongoing in the workplace. These demons are in the workplace engaging in what is nothing lawful at all. They're all focused on me at all times. Every time they send a text message, every time they're engaging in what is phone calls or emails relevant to a third-party company. So you're going to drain the pockets of that company. They're demons that are operating in a circus environment. Nothing that they're doing is even about them or each other. It's all about me. That's not flattering. That's terrorizing, and it's very sick and depraved. Such terrorists are too concerned about my genitalia. Way too concerned. And I'm going to prosecute speaker companies. I'm going to prosecute sex offenders like Carlo Lopez, who is representing what all of the demon-possessed who are violent sex offenders, keeping an American citizen who, unfortunately for you, knows all about it, and I'm going to articulate every detail of it. And those demons that are currently wearing badges with the Los Angeles Police Department, you need to understand those are violent sex offenders. The same demon possession, the same sexually perverted mind state. Just having access to a helicopter and bearing weapons. It's not just federal prison that you're going to start at with those demons. You're talking about disbanding. You're talking about mental facilities, mental examinations necessary. In every regard, you are removing the threat that is posed by a system that's in operation amongst a deluded and depraved and very disturbed population. This is currently, it's 9 a.m. and the fake sun remains over me. This is the prosecution of speaker companies. This is relevant to the workplace terrorism. This is relevant to the prosecution of the entire state of California, where the fake sun is remaining over me in Rancho Cucamonga, facing the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. The multiple acts of kidnapping that courthouse engaged in. This same entity is group stalking me to date, sending text messages as though anyone's confused about what's going on. That's relevant to how long they're going to sit in federal prison. All right, it's currently 9 a.m. This is P.O.C.